Hello and welcome to Analytics and Vertica's webinar on accelerating digitization in lending institutions through advanced analytics. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Adnan Nazar and I work at Analytics as Head of Marketing. I will be moderating this webinar today. And I should mention how excited I am for this webinar. We are going to hear directly from some of our customers what their experiences have been working with analytics and Vertica. Before jumping in, I would like to introduce the panel of speakers we have today, and I will then hand over to our first speaker. So we have in our speakers, we have representing our customers, we have Mr. Tahir Rizvi from Finansbank, a senior professional with MBA from INSEAD, with over 15 years of experience across diverse functional areas. He will be taking us through Finansbank's journey with analytics and Vertica. From another customer, we have Mr. Umar Khalid from Tasdeeq, who possesses over 25 years of experience in various leadership and senior management roles across multiple industries, including telecom, IT, real estate, and infrastructure. Then we have Qazafi Qayyum. He is CEO Analytics Private Limited. He has over 20 years of extensive experience in data analytics, business consulting, professional services, strategic management with various large-scale multinational organizations. Last but not least, we have Zareen Mahad from Vertica, who's representing Vertica and has been in the IT industry for the past 20 years and has worked at some well-known technology companies like IBM, Hitachi, Nutanix, managing the sales, partners, and distribution divisions across ASEAN. With that, we come to the end of the introductions. I would like to start off with our first speaker, Qazafi Qayyum from Analytics, who will be taking us through his set of slides. Over to you, Qazafi.
Thank you, Adnan, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. Let's start off by just analyzing today's world in terms of the importance of data. I think everyone, all organizations and individuals understand how important data is for organization in today's world, right? So arguably it's the most strategic asset along with the employees for any organization. But I just wanted to take this opportunity in terms of giving some perspective of what the industry leaders consider, how important data is for organizations today. Starting off with a quote from Peter Sundergaard, who is an analyst at Gartner Research. He talks about information being the new oil in the 21st century, and analytics being the combustion engine which generates the information. Now, why I chose this quote is because it's interesting. A lot of organizations and individuals talk about the importance of data, but data alone is not something which generates the value for organizations, right? So data has the potential in terms of holding the insights and the information, but getting from the data to the information is something which is not easy to do, and a lot of organizations struggle with that as well. It has to do both with the architecture and the capability of the organization in terms of their data architectures, but also the culture of the organization where they have an environment which is conducive for decision-making based on data, right? So it's a cultural paradigm shift from being an organization where decisions are made based on gut feel or human expertise to something which is more hybrid, where you're having the data or the insights being complemented by the art of decision-making, which the humans bring to the organizations. So I think a very interesting perspective which was shared by Peter in this quote. The second quote which I wanted to share was from Apple, where the importance of consumer data alone is being highlighted for organizations today. I think, when we talk about any typical landscape for organizations, we're looking at a lot of internal data sets which organizations are leveraging on, and that includes customer or consumer data. But in today's world, we have a lot of data which exists outside of organizations. And this is where the challenge for a lot of organizations lies today, where they're able to integrate that external data and complement that with the internal data sets which they have to get a complete 360-degree view of their customers. So, organizations which are better at doing this and deciphering the value of consumer data, both the internal and external view, are the organizations which we see are going to be more successful in today's competitive landscape. The last quote which I wanted to share, and this is most probably the favorite quote which I have, is that in today's world, organizations which are big not necessarily will be beating the smaller organizations. It's going to be the faster organizations who are beating the slow. And it could not be more true. If we look at the recent past, we have a lot of examples. Retail as an industry comes to mind, where the likes of Alibaba came in and gave a run for their money to the likes of Walmart. And the sort of success they were able to achieve, leveraging the agility of their operations, the intelligence in their supply chain, and the way they were capitalizing the data, the single day sales records which they've been able to set is mind-boggling in itself. So I think, everybody understands, the organizations understand that they need to be able to capitalize their biggest asset, which is the data, but getting from the data to the actual insights is, where organizations need to focus today. And the successful ones will be the ones who are leading the competitive landscape. Let's just look at what we are talking about in terms of the magnitude of data which is being generated on a daily basis. This infographic is quite famous. I think they do it for every year. So for those of you who want to look at how this is changing across years, I think that is available easily on the web. So the size or the volume of the data is increasing every year, but also the segments contributing to the overall data being generated is changing as well. Why I wanted to share this infographic is that, this is very relevant for organization in today's world. I talked about the fact that there is a lot of data which is being generated outside of the organization, which is relevant for businesses today. You talk about stuff happening on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, but a lot of organizations are now moving towards online sales. They're moving towards digital channels where they're servicing customers through these social channels, in addition to stuff like WhatsApp these days, text messages these days, and using it as a servicing channel for their businesses. So organizations need to be able to understand how they integrate all these external digital channels and social channels with their internal, more sort of structured information, and then be able to understand what their customer requirements are, and are able to serve their customers intelligently based on that information. A lot of organizations in today's world are talking about digital transformation. I just wanted to use this moment to give an example of financial services. So historically, I think most organizations have been really good in terms of multi-channel, models. So having different channels. So if you talk about typical banking organizations, historically all banks for a while now have had, different channels. You talk about POS, you talk about ATMs, you talk about websites, in addition to the brick and mortar branches. And then in the recent past, you talk about the more digital channels like the web applications, the call centers, the digital, touch screens, etc. So, organizations have been able to come up with this multi-channel approach to service their customers. But the thing which is more difficult is being able to provide a unified experience to their customers across all these different touch points. That is where the omni-channel experience comes in, right? So if I'm a customer to a bank, regardless of the digital touch point which I'm interacting with, the bank needs to understand who I am. what my relationship with the bank is, what my requirement is, what my preferred channel is, and then be able to service me through that preferred channel with an offering which is relevant for me as well. So you can understand and imagine the complexity that we're talking about in terms of deciphering information across all these new channels and conventional channels which organizations have historically had, and then being able to identify the individual and go out and reach out to him in terms of personalized offer. To quantify that in terms of what that means for organizations, it typically means that they need to move away from transactions where they're only capturing information or understanding what the customer is doing when an actual transaction is being made. So a card swipe at a POS or an ATM session or an actual physical transaction in a branch, to the interactions. So every touch point which the customer comes across, the organizations need to be able to capture that interaction and be able to understand the importance of that interaction for their business. So this effectively means that for any typical organization, especially financial services organizations, you're talking about hundreds and thousands of events occurring on a daily basis, where organizations need to have the maturity and the capacity to decipher all those events, identify which events are relevant, which are important for them, and then be able to take decisions for those strategic or important events. So this is basically a paradigm shift. It's an order of magnitude difference in terms of the complexity of the decision making when we talk about these hundreds and thousands of events occurring on a daily basis, but also in terms of the volumes of data which is being generated when you're capturing every interaction. So obviously the volume and the variety of data is changing. And that brings into the question the importance of having the right architecture, and then being able to have the connected environment where the insights are being able to generate, the organizations are able to generate the insights and then present those insights to the consumers of that information, be it humans or be it other machines, which are then able to take that insight and take relevant action against that. So at Analytics, we specialize in helping organizations across their data journeys. We have a team of highly skilled professional services consultants who have successfully delivered projects across the globe, and we're operational in territories like North America. We're operational in territories including Southeast Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East. Why I wanted to give you that perspective of the complexity of the data architecture for today's organization is because organizations have to not only figure out their data strategies and what the right architecture should be, but also have the capability of then using or uncovering the value which lies in their data and consume that in a manner which is then actionable for their business users. At Analytics, we have a services offering which covers the end-to-end spectrum for the data analytics, right from the business consulting aspect to the conventional data analytics and the advanced analytics in terms of AI on top of that. We're proud to have a list of top organizations across multiple industries who have been successful in their data analytics journeys. And today we'll be listening to a couple of them. One is Finansbank, which is one of the leading banks in Pakistan. And the other is Tasdeeq, which is Pakistan's first private credit bureau. Why we invited both these customers are the fact that both are successful, but at the same time, they represent a different channel, a different challenge, where Finansbank is operating in a B2C marketplace, and Tasdeeq currently is operating in a B2B marketplace. So we thought it would give you a perspective of both the segments. And without further ado, I'll hand it now back over to Adnan Nazar to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you, Kazafi, for that insightful talk. and those great quotes at the beginning. Information is indeed oil of 21st century. Moving on, I would like to hand over to Mr. Umar Khalid to take us through Tasdeeq's journey of working with analytics and Vertica in deploying business analytics. Dear Mr. Umar Khalid, over to you. I think, Umar, your mic is on mute. If you could kindly.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Qaddafi, for the introduction, and Adnan also. So I'll take the participants through a customer journey on which how Vertica and analytics are helping us in terms of growing our business, in terms of going to the market, and in terms of how we are handling big data to make our business more efficient and more competitive as compared to other players in the market. So let me introduce ourselves first. Okay. Tasdeeq basically is Pakistan's first state bank licensed credit bureau. We were founded in 2018, and we have got presence nationally across Pakistan. And our group companies are Equitas, Pakra, and Analytics. And now we are servicing the financial industry, and we have got a rich data set of around 18 million unique borrowers from the financial industry in our system. We are introducing new and innovative products and services to the market, and analytics and Vertica are helping us streamlining all these 18 million unique borrowers' data through our Tasdeeq application, and through which we serve all the financial institutions in Pakistan. We've got a very highly scalable infrastructure with a tiered data security infrastructure. And analytics, through its 10 plus years of experience in BI, big data, and AI applications, is helping us structure our systems to the market. We have got an in-depth knowledge of financial, telecom, utility, and insurance sectors, and our in-house and outsourced product development teams are enhancing and enabling offerings at very competitive prices. We are governed by the State Bank of Pakistan, so we follow very high standards of governance and compliance, which are directed by the State Bank of Pakistan. So what we do is we provide products and services which includes credit reports on individuals and on corporates to the financial institutions, and based on these reports, the financial institutions evaluate the behavior of their borrowers and provide them with lending facilities. Now, from the market perspective, we are covering the complete financial market in Pakistan. From on the commercial banking sides, we are out of 31 commercial banks in Pakistan, 29 are on boards with us, and they are sharing data of 2.8 million subscribers or borrowers which they have. And on an average, there's a 5-year history of data which exists with us. On the microfinance banking side, 100% banks are on board with us. There are 11 banks which are sharing 5.7 million data of 5.7 million borrowers with us, and then on average, history of 6 years exists with us. On the microfinance institutions, again, 34 microfinance institutions in Pakistan, 100% of them are sharing 3.5 million borrowers data with us, and then with an average history of 6 years. And then there are other members also, which basically include the utility companies, which includes the insurance companies, which includes the new players which are coming in the market, the fintechs, buy now, pay later, or seed credits and other players. So around 40% of that market is with us, with 35,000 borrowers and 65 companies, and an average of 2.5 years of data. In addition, we have access to 185 million subscribers of telco data with a 2 years billing history. So it's a big data data set that which we are managing and through which we are offering our products and services. Okay. How Tasdeeq, Analytics, and Vertica partnership works. What we have done is, as Tasdeeq, through Analytics, we have developed a core software platform which integrates data from all these 100+ entities which I have just defined, which are commercial banks, microfinance provider, telecom utilities, and government. And then we have integrated this data onto our software platform. And then we have made customized credit risk models using this financial data and features and the data that is available with us. Based on this data and these credit risk models, we create business intelligence reports and dashboards as part of our customer-facing products, as well as for internal management and usage. And the technology that we are using has been developed by Analytics, and it is based on the Vertica database management system. The benefits that we have in terms of using both of these technologies and Vertica are that it is being implemented in a credit bureau, and both Vertica and Analytics are serving 100+ financial institutions and other service providers for analysis, analytics, and reports. And these large number of services and reports and products help our partners to do geospatial analysis, credit analysis, alerts, and utilize our products, which are very helpful to them in terms of growing their business, in terms of mitigating risk, and in terms of being more competitive and differentiating from their competition. As a use case, we are using Vertica as our data warehouse. Tasdeeq runs all our ETL services and then store the information in the data warehouse for designing different products, services, and analytical reports for our member financial institutions. Then we do advanced analytics on huge amounts of data, and then manage both the OLAP and OLTP workloads. The advantages that we get from Analytics and Vertica are that the systems and the application and the data warehouse that they have developed for us is suitable to take very high volumes, process them at a very high speed, and the query response is extremely fast. There's ideal real-time integration for APIs and other applications. The compression rates are high, and speed of access for high data volume is great. The system is very scalable and reliable. As we get more data, there's easy integration and of new bandwidth, and it becomes very scalable, and we can easily integrate it into our system. Auto projections, which are the main feature of Vertica, makes it very easy for us to tune performance. The system is low cost in maintenance. Highly qualified and efficient support is available 24 hours, and our downtimes are very low. Now, overall, this improves the organization's functionality and performance and makes us very competitive in the market as compared to the other credit bureaus which exist. And we are very grateful to both Analytics and Tasdeeq and Vertica in terms of providing us all the support, and in terms of ongoing developments which they are doing on the warehouse itself and on the application side. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Umar, for explaining how this partnership has brought value to Tasdeeq. I will quickly move on and invite Tahir Rizvi to take us through his company's journey of digitization and collaboration with analytics and Vertica. Over to you, Tahir.
Thank you, Adnan. Let me just put on the presentation. Give me 1 second. I hope everybody can see the presentation.
It is visible, Tahir. Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to this webinar. I appreciate APL inviting us and Vertica inviting us to talk about how our experience has been with the two companies and the products of the two companies. And so while there is a presentation and it'll be in the background, I prefer just to speak very quickly and not sort of, get caught up in reading too much of the slides. So just as a quick background, Finansbank is, one of the older banks in Pakistan. We have a 30+ year history. We right now have over 600 branches, and well over 1 million customers, and we do 10 million plus transactions. So we are a bank which has been growing rapidly in this market within the country. We also bought over the business of RBS back in the day. So we have made multiple acquisitions over the years to grow to our size as well. So we've been pursuing organic and inorganic growth to sort of reach our current size and scale. And our vision and ambition over the next few years is to become one of the largest Islamic banks in Pakistan, which is predominantly, an underbanked country. So there's a lot of potential here to grow in the banking space. So to sort of, get to our journey with Vertica and, APL, let me give you a further background that Finansbank throughout most of its history was a institutional and corporate banking institution. So primarily dealt on the B2B side, did not really have a very large retail base. But there is only so much you can do, on the B2B side and in the institutional space. At the end of the day, as a bank to grow in Pakistan, which is a very, a retail-heavy country with a population of over 220 million, to grow in any meaningful way, you have to sort of, target the retail market as well. So a few years ago, it was taken, the decision was taken at the board level that, the focus of the bank would change and we would become a retail bank and we would grow in the retail space. So this required a whole different set of, skills, of, success factors, and we were playing catch up because obviously having spent so much time in the institutional space, there were many banks who had progressed well beyond us in the retail space. So we would have to not only play catch up, but also, figure out ways to surpass them in a short period. So I think one of the things we decided early on that, in terms of our differentiating factors would be our customer orientation and our customer focus. And for that, we had again decided very early on that while there's a culture element to it, one of the most important things is that we need to be able to enable our sales force and our servicing force with the right data and information to be able to serve our customers better, to identify their needs, to know what they're actually doing with us. So, so to sort of go back and reflect on one of the quotes Gaddafi showed us, that it's not something about not being bigger, but being faster. So we actually had quite a journey in terms of catching up, and we had to be faster and we had to be better. So it had to be augmented with data and analytics and information to enable our front end to succeed and do better than our competitors. So the challenge was that in Pakistan, obviously, it is a low maturity market in terms of analytics. So finding the right people, finding the right partners, finding the right infrastructure was all a bit of a challenge. And generally, what happens is that we have the established players, the IBMs, the Oracles of the world, with long-standing relationships because they've sold you core banking systems and hardware and stuff. And they, as part of their hardware, also provide some level of managed services or whatever. But I think in Faisal Bank, our focus was to find someone who was, find partners who understood that this was a journey we were undertaking and we were not very familiar with, and needed help in terms of finding a scalable platform which would grow with our needs as we, further matured and grew, which would sort of, keep scale with that. And also a partner who was not selling, something off the shelf, a partner who was working with us to identify our problems at that particular point in time and helping us solve them and helping us and our team mature and grow so that we could sort of, move on to trickier problems. So I think from that perspective, we did a lot of due diligence and evaluated quite a few partners, evaluated quite a few systems, and Vertica, from a system perspective, came out on top, by a fair margin, frankly, in terms of ownership, in terms of scalability, in terms of flexibility. So that was a no-brainer. And in terms of partner, APL actually has the right team. We gelled well with our team. They had the right experience. They had the right, people. They had the right skill set and the attitude, frankly, that they were our partners in our journey. In terms of they helped us to sort of learn and grow in an area which we were unfamiliar with, and in which, frankly, the entire market was unfamiliar, because it was something which was not being done very effectively or efficiently, because most analytics was, considered to be essentially reporting. From there on, it's been a journey of about 5 years, and quite frankly, we are very happy with the results we've seen so far. We have the significant growth you've seen in terms of numbers. We've grown from, about 150, 200 branches to over 600. Our customer base has jumped from about, 400,000 to 1.2 million. So all these numbers reflect, the benefit of the journey we've taken with analytics. We've been able to give our sales teams, service teams access to a customer 360, which is remarkable because we actually have 3 to 4 core banking systems, in the bank, because we've, like I said, been growing organically as well as, through acquisitions. So we have multiple core banking systems and multiple systems which we all need to pull in. So APL has been sort of working with us on this challenging task and has put everything together. So we have given our sales force the customer 360. We've managed to develop a number of models related to churn, why our customers are moving, what is the behavior patterns they're showing, which reflects that they might move on, cross-sell, models to allow us to sell other relevant products to them. And frankly, analytics has gone beyond just, developing the models. They work with us as marketing partners, as business partners, and as, channel partners to help us identify actually that this is the data and this is what it means. And this is how you can use it. And, we work together in teams with the marketing function and marketing agencies and so on to, fine-tune our marketing efforts as well, to fine-tune our communication to, customers, both existing and new. So frankly, we have had a very good journey so far. And then as a customer, I can say that we have been able to recoup our investment many times over, frankly. So, I think that's pretty much all from my side. And, I think I would give the podium back to Adnan.
Thank you, Tahir, for that insightful talk. And as you aptly put, it's about having the right team and the right experience and the right attitude. And we at Analytics actually value that quite a lot. And we are lucky to have partners in Vertica that value that as well, which in turns, create value for our customers. So thank you for that. With that, I will quickly move on to Ziren and hand it over to him to represent Vertica's perspective and take us through move this webinar forward. Ziren, over to you.
Thanks, Anand. Can you see my screen?
We can. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. First of all, thanks to Omar and also Tahir for sharing your experience with Vertica. Okay. Definitely we are happy for that. We do have a lot of customers out here that are actually very happy with the Vertica solutions. And thanks to our partner, APL, who's always been supporting us and also driving this event together with us to create more awareness of Vertica in our region. Okay, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our webinar. I would like to thank all of you here today for taking your time to participate in this webinar. It's definitely a pleasure to have all of you here today. Now, before I begin, just let me introduce myself again. I'm Zane, or you can call me Rain. I'm from Micro Focus of Vertica. Okay, I manage the partner business for Southeast Asia and also sub-region, and I'm based out of Malaysia. So if you have any questions during our presentation, please feel free to type in our Q&A chat column, and we will get back to you with an answer. Okay, so now without any further ado, let me start our presentation for today. Okay, who is Vertica? Vertica is known for scalability, performance, customer-centric flexibility, and best of all, this product was founded by Dr. Michael Stonebraker. So let's start with how it began. Started back in the 80s, during award winner Dr. Michael Stonebraker has pioneered the relational database, starting with Ingress, okay, which ultimately became Postgres. He saw a need for a true column store database that could address the variety, velocity, and volume increasing the future of big data. He's a computer scientist specializing in database research. Those in this industry definitely have heard about him. So a bit of Vertica. Vertica was founded back by him in 2005. And we are definitely proud to have a legend, Michael Stonebraker, to be the founder of Vertica. As HPE sees the value of Vertica, it was then acquired by them back in 2011 and later acquired by Micro Focus in 2017. So fast forward to today, Vertica solution has evolved and we had just announced our new Vertica 11 long ago. And lately, about 2 weeks back, we have just announced Vertica as Elevator, which is our Vertica as a service. I'll share more with you in the later part of the slides. Okay, for us, there are 3 very recent trends that has become critical for every industry who wants to win with big data. And we have definitely heard this out loud and clear from our customers and from the analysts that cover our market. So data silos with Hadoop declining, it has definitely left exabytes of data in limbo. Okay? Many organizations have a collection of data held by either one department or a group that is not easily or fully accessible by another department or group in the same organization. So data silos may seem harmless, but siloed data creates a barrier for information sharing and collaboration across departments. You may hear organizations talk about the desire to reside in a single cloud, but cloud is reality. That's where we have the options for our customers. Customers would like to have an option. Today, they can either choose whether it be on-prem, hybrid, or even multi-cloud deployments. Machine learning, real-time analytics must transform the predictive analytics. In Vertica, we deliver unified analytics and machine learning at unprecedented speed, scale, and value. So there is a lot of happening in the analytics space, and there are a lot of problems to solve, a lot of opportunities to make things better, and a lot of data that can make every business stronger, more efficient, and more differentiated. But for Vertica, we know that focusing on the challenges, we can directly address what we can make the biggest difference in where we should put our energy and resources. Okay, so what is Vertica? In simple terms, it is a 3-in-1. Okay, it's an SQL database, data warehouse, together with our analytics and machine learning, and it comes with the query engine. So Vertica is an SQL database data warehouse, but the difference is that Vertica is an MPP, column store, shared nothing database that is designed to be highly scalable to support complex modern analytical workloads for blazing fast analytics. Vertica includes a lot of built-in analytical functions at the core. Analytical functions like gap filling, pattern matching, geospatial, time series, and we are constantly adding functions to our database. Our approach to machine learning is different and is innovative. It is an all-in database. You can create, train, deploy machine learning models at massive scale. We also work with a lot of programming languages that we popular with the data scientists, such as R and Python. With query engines, with the query engine is flexible enough to perform analytics on petabytes of data, no matter where it lives, let it be on Hadoop, native Vertica, or in any other major clouds, such as AWS, Azure, or even the GCP. You can also use our external tables to go to reach out to the data to explore data in S3 or HDFS in a much more easier manner. So it's an all-in-one product analytical database. As mentioned, Vertica has an integrated machine learning, end-to-end machine learning management. From data prep to deployment, Vertica supports the entire machine learning process. In today's business world, multiple tools and programming languages may be used within the same organization. But for different machine learning use cases, Verticas allow you to work with these tools while also leveraging the powerful capabilities such as model management and distributed execution on very large data sets. So Vertica connects to hundreds of applications, data sources, ETL tools, visualization tools, and what doesn't connect out of the box can also be easily integrated. As user-defined extensions, or also known as UDX, allows you to develop your own tools for Vertica analytical platform, including new types of analysis and the ability to pass and load types of data. As such, you can see the UDX can be developed in C++, Java, Python, or R using Vertica's powerful software development kit. The broad array of user-defined capabilities, functions to transform, aggregates, analytics, and loading, leverages the MPP capabilities of Vertica by increasing the power of flexibility and procedural code and bringing it closer to the data, whether it be structured, semi-structured, or unstructured. Vertica's user interface make it easy to deploy and use of procedural extensions, simplifying all your operational practices and promoting code to be reused. So it saves more time. In Vertica's PMML, or what we know as predictive model markup language, imports the capability of users can be built in machine learning model in the tools of their choice and bring that model to Vertica for management, archiving, prediction on a very large data sets. Bringing models close to where the data resides provides fast and timely predictions. Vertica also supports the PMML export, With these features, users can train machine learning models on large volume of data in distributed Vertica clusters. Use large data sets to train machine learning models usually results in more accurate models that are less prone to overfitting. So these models built in Vertica can be exported for prediction using other tools. Other common use case is to train the model in database using the maximum amount of data available. After evaluation and scoring, export the model to an edge node or device. That is where you can recite and close the source and make predictions with a lowest possible latency. Another thing to share, TensorFlow is a popular open source machine learning platform that can utilize GPUs or graphic processing units to train highly sophisticated machine learning models such as neural network efficiency. Vertica provides the capability to import to TensorFlow frozen graph models into Vertica. Once trained externally, these models can be brought into Vertica to sit close to the data as close in and make fast predictions. This simplifies the process of putting models into production, minimizes extensive data movement, and can result in significant cost savings for users that may not want to keep expensive GPU-based infrastructure required to actually periodically train these models running all the time. So from the left part of the chart, which is from the business understanding all the way to the deployment, Vertica supports the entire machine learning process. Okay, as mentioned, we have something new to share. Vertica is finally announcing its managed data warehouse cloud service. Vertica Accelerator, all the value of unified analytics platform now available as a service. A quick highlights of what is included in our Vertica Accelerator. Analytics that scales. As your data and analysis needs to grow, more users, more use cases, more data, Vertica is here to grow with you. Okay? It scales according to your business requirements. Faster analysis. Finishes queries in seconds or minutes, not hours. Accomplish analytics use case you thought that it was impossible. And something that is pretty good, it's a very easy administration. All upgrades, backups, and installations are handled for you via the Vertica management plane. Design, build, and maintained by our very own Vertica experts so that you can focus on your analytics and machine learning, not spend time on the machine administration. Auto scaling and auto scheduling. Ramp up and compute automatically, but with user-defined guardrails, this will avoid you on surprisingly high bills. Get database access for all analysts and data scientists without worrying on the other external workloads that will slow you down with our data democratization. No extra charges. Move from your traditional BI to advanced analytics like geospatial, time series, or machine learning without paying any extra dollars. Freedom to negotiate. Use your current or existing discounts, saving plans, and reserve the instances set up on your own secure AWS account. Onboarding service with Vertica experts. We have our people, our Vertica experts here to provide you personalized onboarding experience and to ensure you get most out of your analytics experience, including cross-account linking and ongoing monitoring and upgrade. Now, what's new? We have a 7 days trial, which I want to share. Visit our website and sign up for the 7 days free trial. All you need is an active AWS account with the administrative access, accept all the responsibility for AWS infrastructure costs incurred in your own AWS account as part of using Vertica Accelerator. And lastly, provide feedback to the Vertica team about your experience. With our new Vertica Accelerator, you will experience Vertica's Accelerator high performance and scalable analytics as well as end-to-end database machine learning with the simplicity and automation of a managed service, allowing you to focus on analytics, not the administration. Why Vertica? Okay, simple terms, customers could run analytics under SLAs. Customer got a lot of flexibility to fine-tune the performance. Customers could deploy Vertica in their preferred model. Customers could predict the cost of running a query. And customers could also leverage their existing skill sets and further optimize it. We know that in database analytics is definitely the game changer. But why? See, we offer hundreds of data preparation functions, analytics, and machine algos like geospatial time series for IoT use case. Machine learning algos for predictive analytics. Because you can run these algos in database and because we offer scalability and speed. So you can now run and you can now access all historical data. There is no need to extract a subset of the data to do your modeling, and your predictive models will be more accurate. We are SQL database, but we allow data scientists to use R or Python to build their own UDFs. We offer the lowest cost TCO in the market, which I will share with you in the next couple of slides. We offer you freedom to deploy wherever you want, whether it be on-prem, in multiple clouds, or hybrid. We offer simplicity and a choice on how you consume the software. CapEx model, price per TB or per node, perpetual or perpetual license. Or you can go for the OpEx model, which is the subscription base. What's good? The license for non-production NDR comes free. What I've just shown you earlier claims on Vertica's capability. Now, to further prove our claims, here is what some of the analysts says about Vertica. GigaOM is a technology-focused analyst firm and media company. The company is evolved from a blog which offered news, analysis, and opinions on startup companies, emerging technologies, and other technology-related companies. This chart says it all. And it's different. This chart says it all. Vertica is definitely a fast mover and a well-matured solution that is leading the game in the unified analytics platform. Vertica's platform offers strong performance, a wide variety of built-in analytics functions, excellent integration with data science workloads and external data lakes, and a notable flexibility on its deployment options. As mentioned, in Vertica, we are continuously enhancing and evolving our solutions to cope with the fast-paced changing happening across the globe. Best of Vertica has just been explained. Now, as promised, let me share with you a bit on the TCO. Vertica outperforms competing cloud analytical platforms in third-party benchmark. So this benchmark is done by a third party. It's not a benchmark of Vertica herself. Okay, the chart shows here proven that Vertica is faster, more affordable, and more scalable in terms of concurrency in third parties benchmark over Amazon Redshift and an unnamed data cloud platform. Choosing a cloud-based big data analytic platform for your organization analytical needs is seldom an easy task for an organization. The first step of your company's big data journey. So the earliest steps will include the research, the conversation with your peers, establishing measurable goals, and careful comparisons of big data analytics platform and the best suited for your organization. We are delighted that Vertica came out on top in terms of the faster query performance, greater scalability in terms of concurrent users, and less overall cost. This benchmark is sponsored by Vertica study because we were confident that other two well-known vendors were slower, offered fewer capabilities and weaker concurrency. For example, multiple simultaneous users, then we couldn't handle as many queries per hour compared to Vertica, particularly as data volume grows from 10 to 50, 50 to 250 terabyte. It has always helped to validate our claims that as the unified analytics warehouse with the greatest value of highest performance. You see from the chart here, based on the University of California, Berkeley's AMP lab, big data benchmark, the specific test that we have included here was number one, the longest running trade. Number two was on a queries per hour. And three is the price performance across 10, 50, and 250 terabyte of data and concurrency of 10, 30, and 60 users. The MP Lab has provided the pre-existing big data benchmark. The report can be accessed publicly, available from the data source shown. More details about the test, setup, queries, query sets, cluster environment, and methodology are also in the report. So, in short, Vertica is the best for scale and concurrency. In all three data sets, up to 250 terabyte in all three concurrency profiles, our Vertica Eon mode consistently had the shortest elapsed time for the longest running trade. The graphs also compares all three platforms against the 250 terabyte with the 30 concurrent users. Given Vertica's winning performance on concurrency results, it is satisfying to know that with our Vertica Eon mode, it does work to reduce operational costs compared to other platforms. Vertica costs 45 to 73% less than Redshift, and another 84 to 92% less than the unnamed data cloud platform. Okay, so we always like to share that not only we are selling the solution, but we always tell the customers that customers do make money because, see, I've just showed you that we had the lowest total cost of ownership, okay? And definitely we have half a dozen or even more case studies from third parties showing Vertica's ROI. Now we give it back to our customers. We help them monetize their data. So what do we mean by that? For every dollar the customers spend on Vertica, they get an average return of $4. Let's just take Nimble Storage as an example. Nimble Storage deployed Vertica Analytics platform to replace the legacy open source database system. With many data management deployments, the company experienced improved productivity and avoided additional hardware costs. However, Nimble Storage also able to identify and close more deals with the Vertica Analytics platform, shortening their cycle and automating many customer service tasks. So in summary, they have increased the user productivity, avoided overhead costs as a company grow, and reduced hardware costs. They have an ROI of 287% and a payback of 6 months or half a year, with the average annual benefit of 13.6 million. Today, everyone is talking about data, and data costs more than anything to many customers. There is a huge growing market of data analytics. So you can find a huge library of growing case studies and content in our resources section in vertica.com. Across every industry and use case, successful data disruptors and all have one thing in common, Vertica. So there's a reason why companies are powered by Vertica, because at the scale of data and the millisecond of response that they need, Vertica is their trusted by the most leading data-driven companies. They deliver speed, scale, reliability, on-mission critical analysis. Now, just let me share with you one of a few use cases, and I will take Finansbank as an example. Okay, a bit about Finansbank. They were founded in 1987. Finansbank is more than just a bank. It's a Turkish national institution. Its mission is to deliver the financial services that Turkish citizens and businesses need to catalyze Turkey's success. So to protect the system against cybercrime and fraud, Finansbank has a step that most banks will recognize, such as deploying the security outside enterprise security software ESM as their SIEM solution. The solution that we give is Finansbank is a long timer customer. It runs its security software on ProLion DL380. The bank's IT department owns a number of software businesses process management solutions, including asset management, service management, universal configuration, and data center automation business service management software. The bank's securities organization has a different set of needs. As people interact with Finansbank software, a security outside ESM software gathered data over 120 gigabytes every day from around 15,000 data sources, totaling to about 2.4 billion rows of information. This data is stored in Hadoop. It represents a treasure trove of information, and bank needed to leverage it. It wanted to perform a sophisticated analytic to better understand the behavior of people who interact with its service. Now, why? When Finansbank expressed their interest in Vertica, the bank's security team set up a proof of concept POC to validate whether the software would meet the bank's needs and integrate with Hadoop and support the high-performance queries the banks. The proof of concept was a success, the ability to generate reports in a short time frame and immediately baseline data traffic that provides profile of possible before. The company also liked the easy installation and maintenance of Vertica. So this is just one of the other use cases which I wanted to share, other than what Mr. Omar and Mr. Tahir has actually shared. So reach out to our partners, reach out to EPL if you need any assistance. Visit our website in vertica.com. We have definitely a lot of information there that we are able to share more with you. Or you can also reach out to me directly, and we'll be more than happy to assist all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Zarin, for taking us through Vertica's solutions and the use cases. I'll directly jump into the Q&A. We have a couple of questions. First, I'll just go to Tahir. There is a question directed towards Tahir. So the question is, what were the key decisive factors that led to Finansbank's decision to choose Vertica and Analytics instead of other RDMS?
So I think we obviously went through a process to select Vertica as together. And I think the decisive factors were primarily, number one, the cost, because we had no idea the sort of value we would get. We'd obviously heard global, returns and benefits from analytics, but locally we had no examples. So cost was one very important. Total cost of ownership was very important. Second, I think, was the scalability in terms of the system scalability, that this continue to grow with us. We will not have to migrate midway. And I think third really was the thought process in terms of how everything will sort of move in a particular manner, what our challenges were, and the ability to sort of, and analytics in particular, their ability to sort of, really sit down and, like a doctor, understand this particular peculiar pain points, and not give us cookie cutter answers, rather develop very customized solutions and roadmaps for us to proceed on. So I think when we made our decision, these three factors were the most important ones which weighed in that decision.
Great, thank you. And one more directed towards you, a question directed towards you. Were you able to reduce TCO at your end?
So, yeah, I think we were able to reduce TCO quite significantly. I mean, our TCO overall is quite low, but frankly, I think this analytics platform with Vertica was substantially cheaper than any alternatives we had and we were using, because obviously when we acquired multinational like RBS, we were locked into long-term contracts with the likes of IBM and Teradata and so on. But and the cost was quite frankly debilitating. But moving on to Vertica's platform, we have more features, more facilities, and the cost is quite frankly very nominal compared to the returns we get. Very frankly, does that answer your question?
I think that answers the questions. Thank you once again, Tahir. I'll move on quickly to a question that is directed towards the Steek. Were the existing teams in your organization able to upkeep Vertica DBMS, or you had to hire specialized resources? This is towards
we basically, from our side, analytics is basically managing our databases and our application through a managed services contract. So that team was already in place. They multitask and do a lot. They manage the database also, and they do a lot of other things for us also. In terms of data loading, we had an existing team which does all the ETL work, and that is utilized again as a multitask team which does ETL and a lot of other things in terms of interaction with customers and other tasks also. I hope this answers the question.
Great. Yep. Thank you, Umar. Zareen, I think there's a question that probably is suitable for you to answer. How easy is it to deploy Vertica environment, especially for firms seeking inbuilt machine learning features?
Okay, as I presented just now, for our deployments are very easy, and then we have different kind of deployments. You can also use the cloud on-prem, or even if you have different multi-clouds.
Great. There's a question from one of the participants that's asked, what two key business problems you were able to solve for business teams? So who would be able to answer this question? You can, the floor is open.
Let me take this question up. I mean, it's not just two. There are a lot of issues which come up with the customers, which both analytics and Vertica resolves. Now, the first key question, I mean, the help which both the teams give us is that there's a lot of customized analytics which is required from the customer side. So, analytics as an overall management of the system, and Vertica as a database gives us a great tool in terms of doing this customized analytics in a very fast and efficient manner, and then serving our customers better. In terms of other things, a lot of data is loaded by our customer directly into the data warehouse. So whenever there is some mismatch or anything, both the teams help us in terms of solving where the mismatch is, and then making the process very efficient and productive for both us and for the customer.
Great. Thank you, Umar. Yeah. Certainly does. Just one last question. I think this goes to you, Zareen. What are the options in cloud and on-premise?
Yeah, so that's what I mentioned just now. We can either deploy it on-premise, on cloud, or even multi-cloud. And the other thing is, like what I've also just shared just now. Today we have just announced another new thing from Vertica, which is our Vertica Accelerator, and that is our Vertica as a service model, which sits on AWS.
Great, thanks. Kazafi, I have a question for you. You talked about faster beating the slow. How do you think cloud-based architectures are helping organizations become faster? Are there any risks as well because of the lack of control as compared to on-premise solutions?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I think cloud is a reality in today's world, right? So most organizations have either figured out or are trying in the process of figuring out what their cloud strategy should be. And I think over the next couple of years, we'll see more and more organizations moving to the cloud or moving to a hybrid where they have certain data available on the cloud and a combination of on-prem as well. Obviously, cloud comes with its due benefits, and I think agility is the number one benefit which the cloud brings for customers, for organizations when they are able to expand at a much faster pace. Their IT strategy can be more flexible in terms of the choice of technology, in terms of how they're growing and what investments they're making. Every technology or architecture has its own pros and cons. I think I wouldn't say that there is something which is very negative about the cloud. I think it's more a case where certain industries which are more regulated need to figure out how the regulator looks at the cloud and how which data sets the regulator allows moving to the cloud for organization and what time frame. But I think organizations which are not moving to cloud today definitely need to be in the process of devising their strategy or roadmap of moving to the cloud in the near future, because it will definitely be something which has that agility factor built in, and be able to help organizations grow and respond to changing customer requirements much more faster and quicker.
Thank you, Kazafi. And that brings our Q&A session to a close. I would like to thank everyone, especially our customers and our guest speakers for taking the time out. And I would also like to thank all of the attendees that have been patient throughout this session and listening to our guest speakers. So thank you once again, and we hope that you have enjoyed this session full of insights, and we will be sharing the recording of this session on our social media handles, and we will also notify all our attendees who have been part of this webinar when the recording becomes available for anything that you need to circle back to. This will be live in the next couple of days. In the meantime, if you have any questions or queries, you can direct them to communications at analytics.com.pk, or you could reach out to your local sales representatives. So once again, thank you everyone, and being part of this webinar, and we will be seeing you again with another one of these webinars in the future very soon. Thank you everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.